Hallo und Servus da draußen an den Hörgeräten. Ihr hört mich, den Sven von Lottes Erbinnen, mit einem kleinen Vorwort zu dem nun folgenden Spezial. Ich war kürzlich in Prag und dort hatte ich die Gelegenheit, mit der ehemaligen NWSL und Orlando Pride-Spielerin Christina Burkenraod zu sprechen. Diese ist seit Anfang dieses Jahres in Prag und dort für Sparta Prag aktiv. Christina hat eine sehr interessante Hintergrundgeschichte, weswegen ich mir dachte, dass es durchaus interessant wäre, mal mit Christina für Lottes Erbinnen zu sprechen. Wir haben unterschiedliche Topics angeschnitten in dem Gespräch und ja, das ein oder andere Topic hätte also durchaus auch einer eigenen Ausgabe oder eines eigenen Interviews bedurft. So viel hätte es da zu erzählen gegeben. Manche Fragen habe ich auch dann auch aus Zeitgründen weggelassen. Das Gespräch wird komplett in Englisch sein, sieht man von den ersten 2, 3 einleitenden Sätzen auf Deutsch von mir ab. Dass wir auf Englisch daherkommen diesmal, wird nicht die Regel werden. Wir werden natürlich weiterhin unsere regelmäßigen Lottes Erbinnen-Ausgaben auf Deutsch machen und auch bei den Spezials soll es weiterhin auf Deutsch sein. Allerdings, wenn sich uns die Gelegenheit ergibt, dass wir einen Interviewpartner, einen Gast finden, der des Deutschen nicht mächtig ist, von dem wir aber denken, dass es sehr interessant wäre, sich mit diesem mal zu unterhalten, dann möchten wir die Gelegenheit natürlich schon ganz gerne auch wahrnehmen und dann das Gespräch durchführen. Und das heißt halt dann im Falle eines nicht deutschen Muttersprachlers meistens Englisch. Jetzt ist mein Englisch nicht so gut. Ich hoffe, das stört euch nicht allzu sehr. Ich soll aber ja auch nicht so viel reden, sondern mehr der Gesprächspartner. Und ein Wort vielleicht noch kurz zur Audioqualität. Diese ist sehr gut, wurde in einem Restaurant aufgenommen und leider hört man mich ein bisschen lauter als die Christina. Woran das liegt, vermag ich aktuell nicht zu sagen, aber es sollte nicht weiter störend sein. Im Großen und Ganzen ist die Soundqualität doch für eine Handyaufnahme sehr, sehr gut geworden. Ja, dann bleibt mir euch jetzt eigentlich nur noch viel Spaß mit dem Spezial zu wünschen und hoffe, ihr bekommt ein paar interessante Eindrücke und Antworten von Christina zu diversen Themen. Natürlich NWSL, ihre Karriere, das Derby in der Tschechei, beziehungsweise in Prag, dann ihr aktuelles Leben und so weiter und so fort. Wie gesagt, hört es euch an und viel Spaß. Schönen guten Tag und herzlich willkommen bei einem Spezial von Lottes Erbinnen, dem Frauenfußball-Podcast mit Kaffeeservie. Ich sitze hier heute, nicht in einem schönen Kaffee, so war das eigentlich geplant, aber den Kaffee haben wir zumindest schon hinter uns. Bei mir ist heute nicht die Jule. Dafür eine junge Spielerin aus den USA mit einer sehr interessanten Geschichte und Vergangenheit. Sie war obdachlos, sie trank und sie nahm Drogen. Dann kam der Fußball in ihr Leben und hat ihr Leben verändert. Sie erhielt ein Stipendium und sie schaffte es bis in die NWSL. Und dann kam Alex Morgan und jetzt ist sie in Europa. Hello and welcome, Christina Burkenroad.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Or shall I say Birkenstraße? Because in our pre-talk of the show, we just have found out that Christina indeed is half German.
Yes.
Her grandmother is from Germany, and Burkenroad indeed means Birkenstraße. Quite interesting.
Yeah, people always ask me where my last name comes from, and it's German.
Yeah, it's really nice having you on the podcast. I'm really happy that we could arrange the meeting today. on Friday, the 2nd November of 2018, when we are recording this show, as I said, not in a nice fancy coffee, because the one we chose was too crowded. So we moved over the street and we are sitting in a Mexican restaurant. Well, it's at least more home more close to Christina's home than to Germany.
Well, and it's fitting because I'm half German, half Mexican.
Yeah,
so
that's a good fit.
Feel right at home.
As I said, Christina, you have a really interesting story. You're just 23 years old.
24 now.
24 now, okay. 24, and you experience already a lot in your life. You moved last year from the US to Norway, and earlier this year you moved to the Czech Republic, and you are now playing for Sparta Praha. For those of you who don't know where Christina is playing now. Christina, your childhood was, well, a really tough one, probably a childhood that many people have a good childhood and have parents. Your childhood was very tough. There is a small, YouTube video. Actually, I watched it when Sparta Praha announced your name.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, I need to talk to this player, because that's a really interesting background. I think not many people have when later becoming a professional football player. So let us talk about your childhood first. According to, I think, your Wikipedia, it's, you lost your mother when you were 4 years old.
Yeah, I lost my mother to ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, which, I mean, is such a terrible disease. There's no cure for it, and it happened over the span of about 2 years. So it definitely was a struggle with my family. And after that, my dad kind of went into this depression, which he tried to hold it together for as long as he could. But it was such a tough situation growing up. Luckily, along the next few years, I definitely had other mothers and family step in to kind of take that mother role in my life. So in a sense, I was very lucky and fortunate after, but yeah, that definitely started my childhood off in a weird place.
So have your father suffered from depression after your mother passed away, or was it already something that he had all the time?
Depression, it actually runs in my family.
Okay.
From older generations. So I think he suffered it previously from my mom, but I think I know my mom was such a light in his world. And after, he lost his best friend, he lost his partner, and so he definitely, went back into that depression, probably deeper than ever after she passed. But yeah. And
you have become homeless. Does it mean you ran away from your father, or?
So it was homeless in a sense that I didn't actually run away from my father.
Okay.
I think he was going through a time in his life where he just financially wasn't very stable, and unfortunately that affected me to the point where I had to live with friends to have a roof over my head. Let's see, how do I explain this? He gave his last dollars to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then unfortunately resources kind of just kept running out. And situations just kept happening that made us go dig ourselves in a deeper and deeper hole. And so I, through soccer and through just being where I was in life, I formed great relationships with friends and their families. And luckily there was a few families who took me in and treated me as their own. I mean, like fed me, financially supported me, gave me a room, gave me a bed, gave me money to put clothes on my back. So, and just pretty much guided me through like the toughest years of my life. So,
yeah. In this video clip about the homelessness, you said you take drugs. You took drugs. You were drinking, or was it just for the clip?
No, that's very much so true. I was 15, 16, 17 years old, and that was such like a vulnerable state in my life. I think that's the time where it's like you're either gonna achieve your dreams or you're not, and it's like that's the transition between high school and college. And it's like, was I going to I think my situation, I just let it define me a little bit. I saw myself as a girl that didn't have a normal life. I didn't have parents. I didn't have the guidance that I needed. And so I almost like felt sorry for myself, and I almost just decided to like dig myself in a deeper hole. And so I started drinking more and more. Like during the weekdays, I would somehow find alcohol. I would steal it from stores. I would get it, and I unfortunately got caught up in the wrong group of friends in high school that kind of like supported these decisions I was making. So instead of seeing myself as the athlete, as the kind, generous person that like I know I could be, and like the athlete that I know could go super far with soccer, as much energy as I put in it, I decided to look at myself as the girl with no family, the homeless girl. So I just like saw myself as like such like in a dark place. I was doing a lot of drugs to kind of like take myself out of my reality. And it just, got deeper and deeper.
And you suffered depression as well?
Yeah, 100%.
And you said that giving you confidence was a way for you getting out of your depression, or helped you to overcome depression?
Yeah,
Did I get that right?
I think depression, personally, my depression, it comes and goes. I think now I'm completely aware of when I'm feeling in a darker place in my life, and I'm able to do certain things that help me kind of like get out of it. But yeah, I definitely think during those years of homelessness, what guided me out of it was just the love I got from my friends and from, different families and moms and dads just caring for me, like genuinely caring for me, and just saying like, hey, Christina, like I see your potential. I see who you can be. Let's start doing little things in order to like get you to the next level. So basically when I didn't see potential of myself, other people filled that gap and filled that hole in me. And so eventually I remember like, I remember waking up one day and just saying like, what am I doing? Like this isn't me. Like I'm going to be a professional soccer player. Like I always had a feeling. I was just like, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do.
So does it mean, when was the point in your life football stepped in? And what kind of age you have been?
So actually soccer was like my first love. I think I started when I was like 3 or 4. So I have an older brother, Billy, who's 25 years old. So we're super close in age. And whatever he did when he was a little boy, I wanted to do. So he joined a soccer team. I wanted to be on his team. So he was playing soccer, and I just started playing with him and playing on his boys' teams growing up. And I just, I was just naturally talented at it. And it was just so fun to me. I loved scoring goals, and I loved like taking people on, and naturally like I just happened to be good at it. And so I just kind of like kept doing it. But my brother was definitely my inspiration for that.
So this means you played soccer while you were homeless, while you were drinking, while you were taking drugs.
Yeah.
And then just at a certain point in your life, you realize soccer is what you really want to do, and to get rid of all these other bad habits then in that way?
Yeah, so soccer is like always my outlet. Like I always saw the soccer field as like my sanctuary. And I think it was actually, so in high school, I was playing for my high school soccer team in California. I wasn't on any club team. I had never played club soccer before.
Yeah.
And that's basically the route you take to get scholarships.
Yeah.
So I guest played for a couple teams here and there, but I never was consistently on a club team.
Okay.
And I remember reading a quote one time, and it was basically like, in order for your dreams to come true, you have to deserve them. And so basically deserve what you want. You have to deserve what you want. And I read that, and I just kind of reflected for a little bit. I was like, okay, am I doing everything in my control to like deserve my dreams to come true? And the answer was no. It was so simple, you know? I was basically not who I was, like not who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I was drinking, I was doing drugs, and no, I didn't deserve to be who I wanted to be. And so, I mean, right there, it just kind of snapped in my mind, like, okay, I have to make some changes. And so, yeah, I think that was the ultimate inspiration for me to like stop basically like digging myself in a deeper hole with that.
So at what point you really started your career, or at what point does your career really kicked off? Was it then at the age of 16 when you got to university, or?
Yeah, I think I was either 17 or 18. I was late. I was always like the oldest one in my class. But yeah, freshman year, my first year university, that's when I actually saw my career as being something that could go far.
Can it also be seen as at this time in your life where you had a really proper training in soccer?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I had never really consistently played club, and that's where that's where you learn a lot of like tactical things, and you really learn the smarts of the game. And you know, in a club team, you grow up with these girls, and it's like a family. And I was always just kind of like playing high school soccer or like playing pickup at the park with older guys, and so yeah, when I got to college, like the formations and stuff were just, it was like screwing with my mind, because I was just like, what do you mean? Like, it's just, let's just play soccer. Like, what are you guys talking about? It's like, if I move here, you move there, you know? What are these numbers?
So that's basically like it could be said you are a street kid playing street football.
100%. I 100% believe in street football. And so, I mean, even I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm still like probably not as confident as I should be tactically. Yeah. But if you put me in a position and give me goals to achieve, I will work my ass off to like do that, you know? Yeah. So, still learning. Yeah,
I have to admit that when I saw you the first time playing for Marta, I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't really realize that you were playing NWSL, but was really like, wow, this girl can play football.
Well, thank you.
It was outstanding, yeah, and it was in a derby, of course, against Slavia, so it's a special game. Anyway, so we're talking about this later.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
So you get drafted from university. You get drafted to the NWSL, which is basically, well, a young woman's dream comes true when she's playing soccer. So, and then you were drafted by Orlando, which by then in 2016 was a newly formed franchise for the NWSL. So how excited were you when you got drafted by them?
Yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. Yeah, it's funny because on draft day, I was in my pajamas on my couch, just watching it on my laptop. And it was just the most normal morning ever. I was just had my coffee. The family that I live with, actually, the dad, Roger, was sitting next to me. And we were both in our pajamas, just hanging out, watching the draft. And then, I definitely felt like I deserved to be drafted. And I had some phone calls from teams saying, like, they were interested. So, I had some kind of clues that, like, maybe I will get drafted, maybe I won't. But also there's that doubt that's like, so many other girls probably deserve this as well. So hopefully something happens. If not, I'll take another route. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, the second round, the 15th pick, Orlando said my name. And I was just like, oh my God, like my phone started blowing up with texts and calls. I got a call from Tom Sermani, the head coach. And
what was he saying?
He just said, welcome. Let's, first things first, let's book a ticket out here for preseason camp and, congratulations. And, let's go from here. Let's work from here.
Yeah.
And it was
Where have you lived by the time? Was it still in California? Or?
Yeah, San Diego.
Oh, San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and has it been the first time for when you traveled to Orlando? Has it been the first time for you traveling outside of California, or?
So after my mom passed away, we actually moved to North Carolina for 7 years. So we could have just help from our family. And then moved back to California 7 years later. So I was 15. And so, I hadn't really been too many places. I had never traveled with soccer. It was basically just California and North Carolina that I've been to. So Orlando was completely new. And I was extremely excited. It was literally a dream come true. As a little girl, I remember saying, like, I'm going to play in the same league as Mia Hamm did. Like, I'm going to. And it just happened.
And Sahlgren and
so many amazing players. And my goal is definitely to get back to the NWSL at some point in my career. But it was definitely a dream come true.
Okay, so how have you been taken by the players? This is certainly a special case because everyone was new to the team. As I said, it was a newly established franchise team. So nobody was there before. So I think that's, pretty much strange, isn't it? Because you have, let's say, you have 23 players all coming to one place and nobody knows each other because you haven't been there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And everyone is new and you have to check out everybody. And so how was it?
I had absolutely no expectations coming in because no matter where I was going to, it was that situation. Like I knew nobody. But as a team, it definitely was weird. A bit. There were so many different personalities and so many different styles that people brought to the team. Everybody got along with everybody, for sure. I think it took us a little while to mesh as a team cohesively. But we would do a lot of team bonding events. We would, I think a lot of the personalities were very outgoing. And so there was a lot of people that were very genuinely curious in other people's lives, and we would all, find things to do, whether it was go to a coffee shop or whether it was play cards and just learn about all these different cultures. It took time to really get to know each other and stuff, but it was interesting.
Now you have now experienced both systems, the European system with playing in Czech Republic and having played in Norway, and the American system. Now there have been some recent cases in this NWSL season, for example with Alice Callum Knight, some Kerr. So you have the problem that you have this rating system, this draft system, you have the waiting system, you have and there is no second team you can be put in. Means if you are not in the first team, you're basically out and you have nothing to do. So can you please talk us a bit through the Americans? Because for us Europeans, unless you are really familiar with American sports, be it NHL, NBA or NFL, can you talk us a bit through the American system and what does it mean for a player? Because you don't have a second team where you can be put on and that you suddenly can wake up the next morning and say you have to go to North Carolina or to Washington, whatever.
Yeah, it is a very different system. I think that there are certain aspects of the NWSL that are so advanced and so much, I don't want to say better, but for lack of a better word, it's very advanced in certain areas.
Yeah.
Social media, technology, professionalism. But yeah, I think it definitely needs work on like the contract system. I genuinely feel like no player is ever safe.
Yes.
Like you said, you can wake up the next morning and you can be traded to a different team.
Yeah.
Literally pack up your entire life and go to a different team. And yeah, I do think that there should be second teams. Like personally in my situation where, Alex Morgan came back from playing with Leon. I knew I was going to be the striker that was going to be replaced.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody probably did.
Yeah.
I think that was just a call for me to go on with my career. And so luckily I found another team. But that situation easily could have been, hey, Alex is coming back. Christina, you're basically out of a job. You just got fired.
Yeah.
Go back home, basically.
I mean, this is a question I have. I'll save that question for later, but it fits right now. Isn't it a strange feeling? How to say? Half and half split feeling. Saying in one way, oh, I got waived for Alex Morgan. Wow, Alex Morgan. Whoa, what the fuck? I got waived for Alex Morgan? It's like so in a good and in a bad way. So it's like, wait. Yeah. I mean, it's Alex Morgan. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I thought it. I see her as a friend. Like I saw her as a friend. And so I think it just. I didn't really ever question why or never really put my emotions into it.
Yeah.
It kind of just was like, it is what it is. She brings people, she brings fans. She's a great soccer player.
Yeah.
She's a cool person. So like, I never really was mad about it. I was just like, okay, like Alex is coming back. What is my next move? Do I want to stay here and just be a training player, not be paid? And just like train with the team, or do I want to further my career, go overseas, have an experience of a lifetime? And yeah, I feel like there was no question there. But yeah, I think like in terms of the NWSL system, it's I definitely think there needs to be some sort of safe contracts.
What is the scouting system? I heard at one time, I think it was related to, I don't know, was Aliska Knight, that clubs can scout certain players, and then when they scouted them first, they have the right to pick them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I personally can't really get it like too far into that because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've definitely heard of situations where teams own player rights.
Yeah. Okay.
And all those players don't really have many options after that. And there's been cases where teams have players' rights and won't let them go despite any of the players' emotions or whether they want to be there or not.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely an unfair system in some ways. It's not okay, and it definitely needs to be worked on and just thought through. But yeah.
And I heard it's all the payment system is also quite unbalanced in some ways. So, for example, I heard that if you are an American international, you get paid by the FA.
Right.
So you are not on the payroll of the club, right? As an international player.
Right. As an international player, you are not on the payroll of the club. You are on the payroll of, the FA, like US or whatever country you're from. So that's interesting.
I have the feeling that because of this, that's why maybe you have so many Americans. The other way around, you have so less Americans from the NWSL playing in Europe. I'm not talking about Australia because I think that's a completely different story, because that's like a sister league. So NWSL ends, players moving to Australia.
Right.
They don't have to switch the language. Season in Australia is over, switching back to America.
Well, and the seasons just work out perfectly.
Yeah.
So.
But normally you would say, well, let's have, depending on the viewpoint. Now, I mean, one would say the NWSL is the best league in the world. Others would say you have the best leagues in the world in Europe. If you're an US international, should be your aim to play in the best league, so you go to Europe. So you play in England, you play in Germany, you play wherever. But keeping in mind that the American FA is paying for the internationals, when you're playing in the NWSL, it's a bit, it gets twisted and saying, then probably that's the reason maybe why so many American internationals spend more time playing in the NWSL than, for example, going abroad. I mean, even if they are going abroad, it's always for a short time.
Yeah.
As we could see with Alex Moore and others.
Right. It's definitely a shorter time period. I do think the NWSL is the most competitive league from top to bottom in the world. And so I think if you're able to stay securely in the NWSL, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't, no matter where the money is coming from.
Yeah.
2 points to make from this. I do think the pay in America, what's not good about it is you have your season for 7-8 months, and you get paid pretty well on those periods, but then in the off season, you have no income. So that's what, five months or whatever. Not paid at all. So it's really hard. Like you have to, get like a full-time job in those months, plus like prepare yourself for next season. So it's definitely like a hard balance. I remember my first off season with Orlando, preparing for the next one. I mean, everything I saved from Orlando, I spent in the off season, so it was hard. It was hard to save money, but I mean, I also coached on the side. Like I definitely had like another income, but it needs to grow, and I think it is, and I think it will continue to, but it just sucks that like we are the guinea pigs right now. And
what about the, I mean, it's like, let's say the NWSL is always put on a stage like, this is the NWSL, we are the NWSL, we are the best league in the world, we have the best players in the world, and so on and so on. And then you hear stories from the background from clubs in the NWSL where the owners or the bosses are not looking after the players, where they don't have dressing rooms and stuff like that. How is that? Have you heard of such case? I mean, Orlando certainly is completely different, and Portland might be as well, but other franchises in the NWSL, they might have some problems. So the players are really not treated like pros or like players, and just like.
Right. I think no matter where you are in the world, you will find that like some clubs are just a lot more. They hold being professional. They're very prideful about it. But yeah, I've definitely heard of stories in clubs not being as professional as others, and it's very, very unfortunate. Luckily, with my experience with Orlando, that kind of set the standard for me. And so I think Orlando is the most professional women's franchise in the world. And so kind of like going from there, I had all these high expectations, and it just like never exceeded it. So I've definitely had to learn how to like just change my perception a little bit. But yeah, it's not fair to some players, just with like, the holding of the rights, the not being able to feel like a true professional in some clubs. But
is it also that some players, as I heard, some certain star players, NWSL star players, they have their own private coaches and are not really attached to the team and the training?
I've never experienced that.
Okay.
I know that. I know a lot of professionals, myself included, that have extra trainers, that have trainers on the side that train individually. But yeah, I think a lot of professional players just like want to get an edge. Just will do whatever they can to make themselves a little different, to have more eyes on them, to tell them little details to change or keep doing. So
so it's not the thing to say I am XYZ and I don't want to have to do anything with them because I'm the US international mega star, whatever.
No, I've personally never heard of a situation like that.
Okay.
I don't know everything though, so there could be, but I can't see that happening that much. But maybe it has.
I heard this from of about one or two players, but I forgot the name, so
okay, yeah.
I have to admit. So you played with you said you played with Alex Morgan. There were a lot of stars at Orlando, also in the 2018 season, and compared to Portland or to North Carolina. The Orlando franchise has not really been that successful yet. I think there were high expectations. With Tom Sermanni, they had a coach with a big reputation in women's football.
Yeah.
And now I have the feeling it's more like with the last season, it's like having put a team together with a lot of stars and egos, but not really a team. Have you watched Orlando this season? Have you seen them play?
I've watched a couple games. I still have a few friends on that team that I
so just from viewing it, would you agree with that, or would you say that there are too many egos, too many superstars, or?
I definitely think. I don't want to say it in like a bad way, but there are a lot of egos. I definitely think over the years, and I think they will continue to grow since it still is a fairly new franchise. Yeah. I think that they probably need to be a little more cohesive. But yeah, there definitely was a lot of like older, experienced players that have, been around the NWSL and like played different places in the world, and I'm sure it was such a mental battle for them to adapt to one style, thinking their style was, the best. So I definitely think that was like something we needed to work on, and I'm sure that they still do.
We see a lot of Brazilians in the NWSL.
Yeah.
You have played along with Marta. Is there any special reasons why are so many Brazilians playing in the NWSL? Compared to the top leagues in Europe. Of course, we all know Marta has played in Europe, but taking the amount of talents Brazilian players playing in the NWSL would say, I could imagine this player could play in Europe, but it seems really they are all stuck in the NWSL.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the NWSL from top to bottom is the most competitive. And also, I think the American League really tries to, as much as they can, pride themselves on making the players feel like professionals, whether it's the advertising, the photo shoots, the interviews, the locker rooms, the facilities, and of course, like we said, there's some that are the complete opposite of professional, but if you land in the right team, you will feel like your childhood dreams coming true, you know? And so, and I think the Brazilian national team has done amazing over the past few years. And so, I think if anybody ever has a chance to play in the NWSL, they'd take it in a second.
So how is Marta? One of my favorite personalities in women's football. Not.
No.
What person is she? I mean, I would fairly say that a lot of people in Europe or people I know would say, well, she's a great player, but as a person, she comes across like, well, it would translate bitch, but I didn't want to use that word because it's too harsh, but you probably know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what kind of person is she?
So I only played with her for a few months.
Yeah.
I didn't get to know her that well, but I mean, as far as like being on a team with her, she was a typical Brazilian. I mean, she was just a ball of energy. You can just tell, like, on and off the field, she brought so much joy and passion. No matter how, if I were to just meet her, I would have never guessed she was as successful as she is, just because, I mean, she wasn't materialistic at all. I mean, she definitely just walked around like humble and passionate. So I definitely admired her and like looked up to her. She was awesome. I mean, she helped as much as she could.
Anything you have learned from her?
So she does her separation touch is unreal. She will dribble at somebody. I mean, she always uses her left foot. I mean, she can get away with it. So if she dribbles at you and she's going towards goal, and if you watch her separation touch away from the defender into the shot, it is just the most like precise thing ever. No defender will get it ever. And it was just a simple, it's just such a simple move, but it works all the time. I definitely can just, I can see that she plays with like so much passion and so much joy when she plays that it's just like, dang, like she's one of those players. It's like when she plays, it's like, okay, I want to take some of that. Like I want to make people look at me and just say like, she plays with so much joy. So it's definitely admirable.
Other players who have been played with, of course, Alex Morgan. We already mentioned it. Lisa de Banner.
Oh yeah, Lisa.
I think I've seen her on the pitch in a couple of weeks ago in the international England against Australia. And I think she's a beast on the pitch, in a positive way, not in a negative way. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, she
has so much energy and
she's a ball of energy, a ball of muscle. She is.
And she's already 33 as well.
Quite the character. I mean, she was bold. If she didn't like something, she would be the first to say it out loud. If we were in line to do a drill and the coach explained the drill, she'd be like, no, that's stupid. Why are we doing that? Like, it was just like, and of course that was my first professional season, so I was like, anything the coach said, I'd be like, okay, I'll do it. You want me to run 10 laps? I'll do it. But Lisa is just like, such an experienced player, just such a, let's get shit done right now. Like, let's get it done. Let's work hard. Let's not like do anything dumb. But she was a character.
As Lisa is Australian and you are a striker, would you actually say Sam Kerr is the best striker in women's football at the moment?
I mean, she's definitely like top three. Top three.
Who are the other two?
I definitely would say Marta.
As a striker?
Oh, as a striker. I'm just thinking offensive players.
Oh, right.
I mean, I definitely think Sam Kerr is a beast. She's so good. So good. I was really sad she was not traveling to England. I was really hoping to see her in that game, but maybe next year in France. Definitely.
And then you said it before, your friend Sarah Hagen former FC Bayern Munich ladies player.
Yeah. Apple. We always called her Apple.
Apple. Yeah. And a friend of mine, hello Nico, if you can hear that, we are talking about your Apple right now, because I have a friend in Munich. He's a big fan of her.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a big fan of her too.
So. Marta played in Scandinavia before. Devana played in Scandinavia before. Sarah played in Europe with Bayern Munich. Mm-hmm. So, have you talked with them about Europe and their experiences in Europe? Or have you talked with Sarah about her time at Bayern Munich?
Yeah, I have. Before going to Europe, I definitely reached out to her and, kind of like, I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, of course, like there's nerves. You have some fear in you have some excitement. And she told me about her experience and how it was awesome and just like how she grew so much as a player and person. And I also talked with Ashlyn Harris, the goalkeeper for Orlando and national team. And yeah, both of them just like grew so much as a player going overseas. And so it definitely just like gave me so much reassurance to, take the move, take the experience, learn as much as I can, work as hard as I can. And yeah, so Sarah definitely gave me a lot of advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Sarah told you any story from Bayern Munich you can share with us?
Not specifically from Bayern Munich, but she said she had a really good time at Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Munich is not far from Prague, so I mean, next October is coming.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was supposed to go this season or this year, like a month ago or so, but unfortunately I didn't. But I definitely plan on going.
Okay, well, you are welcome to Munich anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah, just let me know, and if you want to see a game Bayern Munich ladies or something like that, then
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Maybe we could go together. Unfortunately, not with Sparta Prague. What I was hoping for in the Champions League.
Yeah, so was I.
So anyway, I had two more questions related to the NWSL before we coming to Sparta Praha. In our pre-talk, we already talked about Portland. Mm-hmm. Watching Portland from a European women's football point of view is amazing.
Yeah.
Every time I'm watching Portland playing at home, I'm totally stunned. I watched the final, where it was sold out with 21,000. I mean, the fans behind the goal are great. You have such a diversity there with all the people. They have wearing rainbow flags and against racism, and so basically things you know from St. Pauli in Germany. Yeah. So and it feels Portland is so much completely different to other NWSL franchises, and I really want to go there at one time. What makes Portland so special? And have you played in Portland?
I haven't played in Portland.
Or were you with the team when you played in Portland?
Oh yeah, with Orlando. Yes. I went there. I went there once. My first year, I didn't travel to that game, and the second year I was there. I mean, it's such a cool atmosphere. But even beside the soccer, I think so. I have a mom figure. Basically, she's like my mom.
Yeah.
She lives there, and my brother actually lives there as well. And so, Portland itself is just the most like community-driven, loyal, just respectful, open place that I've ever been to.
Okay.
And so, I just am not surprised that the soccer is doing as well as it's doing. I mean, I think the club definitely reflects the community, or you can say vice versa.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like, whoever you are, whether you're gay, straight, trans, black, white, whoever, you will go there and you will feel at home. They will make you feel at home. And I just think it's so cool that the club itself is like it's doing as well as it's doing. I think it's amazing, and I think other clubs should strive to be like that. And their style of play, I've always been a big fan of like Tobin Heath and her style. I think she's so creative and just like so calm and collected, and just such a fighter as well. It's just awesome. But yeah, I think Portland is such a cool club, and it's just like it's so big and it's so awesome, and it's fun to be in that atmosphere.
So now you are playing for two teams in Europe, and in Europe clubs normally more that community based or community driven. So would you? So can you agree to that? And can you say, well, yeah, that's something like Portland, and I experienced the same here in Prague with Sparta, or I have experienced the same with Bodø in Norway.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So community linked or?
No, not where I was in Norway. I will definitely say that was a no.
Okay.
Here more than Norway.
Okay.
I think that the men's side of Sparta Prague is very, very respectful. Like it's people have so much pride for them.
Yeah.
And we have fans. I think there could be more though.
Yeah.
I think we could do a better job of like reaching out to the community and
I think you already do a good job compared to Slavia, but
yeah, that could be true. I also haven't been here for that long.
And so I wondered. Last night in the Champions League, Slavia took on Rosenborg, and there were 1,500.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a good figure.
Yeah.
I think in the social media, I think Slavia Seni is not doing such a good job like Sparta. But for example, with website-wise, I think they are doing quite good, because when the women's when they have an important game, they put it on the first page.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they don't make a difference. It's a women's team, the men's team. It's just one club. Yeah. That's great. I have to say. Yeah.
Absolutely great. I've actually, me and one of my teammates actually wanted to run the Instagram for Sparta or for Sparta, not Slavia. If I get a hold of that, I will.
Sorry.
No. Delete all the followers. For Sparta, unfortunately, we couldn't. But yeah, I just think like having experienced Orlando and having experienced such community-based clubs, that it's like I want to help. You know, I want Sparta to be like that basically, I know we have so much potential to do so. I mean, Prague is obsessed with Sparta and Slavia, and I mean, they have so much pride. I mean, I have so much pride playing for this club just because, derby matches. We have, these two clubs have been back to back for years and years and years, and you can just tell when we play each other in the derby, it's just. It means so much more than just soccer. Yeah. There are so many emotions. Oh, 100%. I mean, from the warm-up, from like the week at training, it's just...
you just get goosebumps.
Yeah. No, I mean, those weeks and those games are my reminder of like why I play this sport.
Okay.
And it's so much more than soccer. It's just... whoever wins, like we have the older girls on our team just like crying like happy tears if we won. It's just, you don't see that a lot, I feel like a lot of people just kind of play to play, but no, it's just there's so much pride, which is amazing. And I think that if like our fans feel that energy from us, it can attract so much more.
The only thing I have to say, the bad thing about Sparta, I have to say, unfortunately, the thing the club had to get rid of are the Nazis within certain fan groups.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to know about them. That's
you will
scary.
see them tomorrow if you go to the game.
That's scary. Okay, yeah, I'll agree with you there. That's terrible.
To the next question. Well, you talked about the derby, and so you have. Are there a rivalry between? I mean, of course, there's a rivalry if you play the match for 90 minutes. But on one side you have, zumindest for, at least for this season, you have Herndon, Profit, Schumann and Slavia, and on Sparta side you have Strom, Miller, Dorsey, all North American players. So are you a friend with them even they are from Slavia or?
I wouldn't say like friends. We've like hung out off the field a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's on the field, it's definitely still a rivalry. Still a rivalry. But off the field, it's definitely mutual. Like, hey, how's your experience?
Yeah.
We're there for each other.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, you go to a different country and like all of a sudden there's someone who speaks your language and knows your slang, and you just feel like an instant connection with them despite other circumstances. Yeah.
So are you happy that you have 3 fellow North Americans in your team?
Oh, I think that's the thing I'm like most thankful for. Yeah. Fortunately, we all get along so well.
Yeah.
And we're all very open about what our experience is here.
Yeah.
And so, I think also just like having other foreigners to connect with and like share this experience with, and not feel alone in the good times or bad times, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So
if I'm not wrong, Kylie Strom was named Player of the Year last season, right?
Yeah, she's so good. She's definitely an inspiration for me. I mean, every day on and off the field, she works so hard. She is just a workhorse. I mean, she will sprint back on defense.
Yes.
And then she'll be at the next line, like on the other side of the field in like 5 seconds. She is the hardest worker I know. So it's definitely just something that I now take with me.
You are, for those who don't know, and probably most don't, Sparta Praha women's team, or Ceni, how is it called in Czech? Jenny, they are practicing and playing at the Strahov Stadium, which is and was the biggest stadium in the world, with the capacity of 200,000, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And it actually holds 8 to 9 pitches.
It's huge.
and is probably the biggest ruin in world football. Now, when you came to Strahov Stadium the first time and you see it, you saw it when you. What were your thoughts? I mean, it's gigantic.
This facility is huge. So I actually, the very, very first time I saw it, it was right when I landed in Prague for the first time. And our managers were like, oh, we'll take you to the facility. The girls are actually training right now. Yeah. And so, I walked in. It's a really nice building when you walk in.
Yes, true.
In the wintertime, you go in and they have a bubble. They have a little bubble above the field. So we just went in the field, and the rest of the stadium was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. Yeah. And so originally I thought, it's just like a field outside maybe, and then the bubble. And then the next day we went back and it was daytime, and I walked in the same area and I saw the bubble and then 8 other fields. I was just like, what? This is like a national park. Like it is huge. I definitely I've never seen a facility like that with so many fields. You have like 2 artificial fields with like heaters, an indoor, there's like a volleyball court for like sand training, and there's like 5 or 6 real grass fields. So it's nice. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, it's a destination for groundhoppers. Yeah. A beloved destination, and so if you ever want to see a match in the Strahov Stadium and you want to tick it off, you either have to watch a Sparta youth game or you have to watch the Sparta women's game.
Yes.
At best, watch a derby. It's worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Going back to the NWSL a bit. When I watch the NWSL, I always have the feeling the NWSL is basically everything about athleticism, strength, physics, speed, while rather in Europe it's more tactical. And you have more in Europe. You can see more duels, more challenges between the players than you do in the NWSL. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely think the NWSL and just American soccer in general is, I mean, obviously there's like technically gifted players everywhere, but it is so athletic.
Yeah.
And here, I mean, even I think in the American leagues, and especially in university in America, you have a strict gym schedule.
Yeah.
You are in the gym a few times a week.
Yeah.
And here, I've actually had to create a gym schedule for myself. So it's like, if you value being in the gym, feeling strong, getting stronger, do it yourself, because there isn't going to be like a strict gym schedule every week for the team. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you.
Okay. And from the learning point of view, do you like it that the game is more tactical here?
Yeah, I mean,
it's sometimes
definitely
if you watch it can be dull.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're a tactical or tactician or tactical nerd, whatever, then of course you might enjoy it. But it's not that entertaining, maybe to a neutral viewer.
Right. So, like I said, like I was very bad at, like, I feel like I still have so much work to do with tactics.
Yeah.
So coming here, it was so different, and I think it was like more challenging for me than a lot of other players. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say I like it less or more or anything, but it definitely is different. It's a different game. And it's funny because you hear that if you're an American player playing in the NWSL, you think that like the game is the same everywhere. Yeah. Or if you've just never experienced any other team, you think it's the same everywhere. But
sure.
No, you go to every country's different. Every team holds a different style. It's pretty crazy if you really think about it. I mean, just how much you have to adapt and how much you can learn and grow through just different coaches, different players, different styles. But yeah, so I like it. It's definitely new.
Yeah. How many times a day you practice with Marta? I think one time a day, right?
One time a day. Tuesdays and Thursdays we actually train 2 times a day.
Okay.
We have morning training and then evening training every Tuesday and every Thursday.
Okay. And now we already talked about the derby. These are basically the only games that count in the league, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's honest. Because, I mean, if I just look at the recent results in the league, it's like Slavia winning 16-0, 13-0, something like this. So how is it for a player if you have one season? And actually, I think this year the season stops in 2 weeks' time or something like that, and then you have a 4 months break. I think until March before you start again. And not only that, you play the games against Slavia, that the games that count. For the other games, of course, they count as well, but you know that
we're gonna win.
Yes, you're gonna win. So how do you prepare yourself as a player? Because it's like, as a player, you want to have I don't know. Sorry, I just lost the English word, but
Yeah, like you want to go into it.
Yes, and then it's like, well, I just go and I play, and then the game against Slavia or Sparta is on. Yeah, okay, now it counts, and then for the next few months again. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, when we come back from break in January, we play Slavia like a good 4 or 5 times. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, that is definitely one of the challenges of this league. The drop off between the first couple teams and the rest is unbelievable. But it's almost just like, okay, how good can we be at training every day? You know, how high can we keep the standard between ourselves? Like, we still have to set goals, we still have to perform. And it's almost just like a worry less about the other team and more worry about ourselves. Like, okay, how good can we be today? How much possession can we keep? How many combinations can we make? How many, how can we work for each other? So it's almost just like we have to make sure that we set certain goals every game and still have some sort of inspiration to help us like keep working because it is so easy just to like get distracted and just like, okay, this is pointless, honestly. Like, what am I doing? Especially coming from a league like the NWSL. It's just,
of course,
yeah, but I mean, it's seriously a mental challenge. It's like, okay, stay in the game, stay in the game. Yes. I still have to perform. I still have to like, let's make every run. Let's not drop down a level. Like, so it's a challenge for sure. It's mental. But
Champions League, you played in the UEFA Women's Champions League for the first time. And it was against Ajax Amsterdam. And unfortunately, you lost both matches at home and away. First of all, how do you see these two games? I only managed to watch the match in Amsterdam. I couldn't watch the return fixture. And I had the feeling in Amsterdam you have been the better side, but Ajax just catched you on the break, and they scored 2, and over. You had so many chances, but you didn't score.
I know. I mean, I don't want to make any excuses. I don't feel like we were fully prepared tactically, and that's actually one of the cons of the Czech league. It's like when we play a good team or a team that's going to challenge us, it's like it takes us a little while to like adapt to that mindset again, because we get caught like on breaks so much. On our league, that's okay because we can just recover and get the ball back. But when we play a good team, it's like when they get a break, when they get a counterattack, it's like they're going to finish it. And so unfortunately we just weren't turned on from the start of that game. We had multiple chances that we could have put away, but and I don't think we were as organized as we could have been. So it was definitely a wake-up call. I thought when we played Ajax here in Prague, it was we were I think the better team again. We scored early, which was amazing, and then the energy just kind of dropped off, and we just couldn't finish the game. We let a couple individual mistakes like happen, but I mean, instead of I don't know, but it was tough. It was tough because I think both games we definitely deserved it, but we just couldn't finish it.
You might stay for next season, so maybe another shot at the Champions League. There is no Champions League in North and South America. There is no such competition in the women's game. I think it's not even in Asia, and I don't think in Africa. So the Women's Champions League in Europe is quite unique. A great experience for you. Is it something you're really looking forward or hoping to play again Champions League and maybe play a few more rounds? Because it's like interesting for you coming around, seeing so much different teams, seeing so much different venues.
Champions League was such a cool experience. I mean, just like, again, the professionalism was amazing. I think so many fans took so much pride in it, and it was just, it's such a, like, it's a tournament. There's so much history behind it on the men's and women's side, and just like having a chance to play in it was so cool. And I'm definitely looking forward to the future and hopefully being able to play in it again. I would do that every year if I could. So.
And any idea why there isn't such a tournament in at least North and Central America?
I honestly could not tell you. I'm not sure.
Maybe in the future we will find out why that is, or if some of our listeners knows why there isn't such a competition in North America, just let us know. it's also you said you have the big Strahov Stadium. You play the derby there. You have 2, 3, maybe 500 attendance, and then compared to maybe a few thousand in the NWSL. How does it feel to play in front of an almost non-existing crowd?
Yeah, I mean, fans create the atmosphere, and it's always amazing to play in front of so many people. But at the end of the day, like I'm just there to play soccer with my team, and there could be one person, there could be 1,000 people, and I would play the same way. So I definitely wish we had more of like a fan base and community system, but I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
If you would rate any of the player at the Sparta team, who would it be and why? Probably Kylie, but that would be too easy. So
I think Sparta is individually. I couldn't name one.
No?
I would probably name like 6 or 7 or 8.
Okay.
There's so much talent on this team. And there's just so much experience. I mean, every single player brings something unique to the team, and they just use their strengths to their potential, and it's amazing to watch them. I mean, just to name a few, there's Kylie, there's like, I mean, the foreigners, just like, it's a solid group right there. Kylie, Skylar, Ashton, Megan, all of them are amazing players that have been successful in other places too. There's Lucy and Ircha Martinkova. I think I'm like really bad with Czech last names.
No, that's okay.
There's Stashi, who is going to be a legend. There's like Vishti in defense. Sorry, I'm like saying nicknames here too.
That's okay. No, Stashki, Andrea Stashkova. That's the most important name anyway. You need to know.
No, I mean, really training every day is you go in there like pretty nervous just because everybody is so good. So yeah, I think the players here are unbelievable, and I'm like so happy I get to play with such great players.
Going back to the Ajax game. Ajax got hammered by Lyon. So when you what were your thoughts when you were seeing the result? Like, oh my God, what about if we would have to play against Lyon?
I mean, I think it would have been pretty cool to play against Lyon, just because. But yeah, no, I saw that and I was just like, that sucks, that sucks really bad.
For those who don't know, it was 13-0 on aggregate. So.
I didn't watch the game, so like I don't know if Ajax was playing with their strongest team.
It's really strange result. If you think they lost 4-0 at home in Amsterdam, and then 9 in New York. What the fuck?
I mean, that's hard on the ego. I feel like after probably like the 3rd goal, Ajax must have just given up. Probably, that's an ego killer. That's rough. I feel for them, but also,
Do you personally have any role models?
Actually, I have a lot of role models. I feel like everybody I meet and everybody I've played with, I mean, there's obviously certain players that I just take a little bit of something from. I mean, I definitely look up to like Marta, Alex Morgan. They're amazing. My best friend, Danny Weatherhull on Orlando Pride. We got drafted together, so we automatically had a connection. Just like Kylie Strom, they are both just workhorses. They work so hard, and whether it's like the warm up or sprints or possession or shooting, they are in it 100%. And I think it was like such an inspiration. And then, let's see, other ones. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think right now.
Okay. Is Kylie half German, by the way? Do you know that?
I want to say she's Polish.
Because Strom is basically, it could be a German word.
I think she's Polish.
Okay.
I'm like 90% sure.
Okay.
Because her mom visited the other day and they were going to go visit family in Poland.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Any favorite club in the world?
Favorite club in the world? I would definitely say for the men's, it's Real Madrid. I'm a Madrid fan.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Barcelona is just always fun to watch, though. And I know they're rivals, but I don't care.
And any club outside the US you wish to play for?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to play in Spain.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. I mean, I'll dream big. I would absolutely love to play in Spain. I think the culture there. I think the language. I'm Mexican, so I can speak Spanish. That would be amazing. I mean, I would love to play in the Bundesliga. That would be a dream too, just because there's so much history there. There's so much pride. Great league itself. Germans are awesome.
Hello, Bundesliga.
So, yeah, I think those two places right now are definitely goals that I have.
Taking your history, we have been talking about. What would be your message to other girls and boys who experience or have experienced what you have experienced in your childhood?
That's a good question. I think if I could give any advice, I would just say to never think you're dreaming too big, and to always just, go after what you want, and always have pride in what you want. Because I think that no matter what you're going through, you can use that to your advantage. It'll give you, every experience you go through as a kid, as a teen, as an adult is so unique to your own life. And if you just continue to push and work towards your goals that you want and it comes true, that's an amazing story. And I think that, I just think there's no dream too big. And I think we should all just go after what we want. So.
And almost final question. What do you take from your life and experiences here in overseas or in Europe? So far.
Yeah, so far, let's see. I've kind of non-soccer related. I've definitely just learned to be a lot more vulnerable and be just proud of exactly who I am and where I come from. And so just being open and raw and real with everybody, whether it's my teammates, whether it's the coaches, or whether it's people I meet, just always present my 100% real self. Because we kind of covered based on the beginning, I definitely go through times of depression, and I think I feel things very deeply. And so being so far away from home in my comfort zone there, it's really forced me to lean on my teammates a lot more than I ever had to before, and lean on my friends here. So I think just being vulnerable and being open and being my true self is something that I've had to work on since being here.
And one question I forgot before, we were talking about that you have been waived for Alex Morgan, taking the fact that less self-confidence also led to depression on your side, or the other way around, that more self-confidence given by other persons to you have helped you going out of depression. When you heard that Alex Morgan is returned to Orlando and that you will have to leave, how have you dealt with the situation?
It was.
It's a blow. You in the NWSL, you reached your goals.
Yeah.
Alex Morgan steps in, and that, it's not a blow because it's Alex Morgan, but on the other hand, it's why? What has it done with you?
I know at the end of the day, every soccer franchise is a business, and so they had to do what they had to do.
Okay. So
it was definitely
doesn't really ruin your self-confidence, or that someone had to come to you and talk to you and say, come on, you're a talent, you're good.
No, it didn't ruin. I think if anything, I was a little embarrassed just because I was, the one person getting waved. Yeah. And so of course that's gonna hurt my ego. Shoot, that sucks, you know? Yeah. But no, I mean, I had played one season of soccer professionally. I mean, I still knew that I was just scratching the surface of my potential and what I was able to do. Mm-hmm. And I knew my talents would take me somewhere else. Yeah. I knew I was going to keep playing. So, yeah, it sucked. It was an ego killer. It definitely shot my confidence down a little bit. But, I was still playing soccer. Yeah. And Tom Sermani is such a good guy. I mean, such a good human and he knew my past. And he was just like, you are always welcome to, train in Orlando. You will always have a place here. And so... so it really felt like that was still my family. It's just they had to do what they had to do. But yeah, it sucked. The whole situation was weird. But that did lead me, to going overseas, which I had always wanted to do, but I didn't really know how. And so it just kind of pushed me towards that. So it was one dream was falling apart, but I know it'll come full circle again. I know I'll end up exactly where I need to be.
How did you take on the cultural difference? I mean, that's three countries: Norway, Czech Republic, the United States, and 3 different cultures. I mean, although Czech Republic and Norway is the same continent, but still different culture, I would say. And I don't know so many Norway people, so I can't really judge it. But for me, being often in Czech Republic, I would say compared to American, the Czechs are, they greet you, even you're a foreigner. They say "Dobrý den" everywhere, every time, but they are really closed, and I feel grumpy. So how as an American, where Americans always used to be very friendly and open in the first place. While with the Czech, it's more or less the opposite. So how do you deal with it as an American?
There are definitely some situations where it's so just different than America. I'm sorry to Czech Republic, but the food or just the waiters and waitresses here, customer service is what I'm trying to look for. It's so bad here. I mean, they don't get tips or anything. So I feel like in America they're overly friendly. Give me more money. But the culture is definitely a lot different. A lot colder here, especially coming from California. The most open, just I love everything place. Europe has definitely been an eye-opener to not everybody is like that. But I would definitely say the food service, customer service is the biggest difference here. And I'm used to saying hi to everybody, smiling at everybody, saying even if we just meet for coffee, it's just hey, how are you? Whereas every time I say how are you to a Czech person, it's why are you asking me that?
I know exactly what you mean.
In America it's oh good, here's what I've been doing lately. So
I'm as a German, I'm actually exactly the same. So if someone coming to me, of course I know if someone approaches me in English saying how are you, I know he just tries to be nice. But if someone in German would do that to me and I don't know him, would say what? Leave me alone. It's funny, I've actually stopped saying how are you to my Czech friends, but the moment I'm with my American friends again, I'm hey, how are you? How are things? How's everything going? I'm very curious. But with my Czech friends, I'm just very, I don't even know. Just what did you do today? And how do you deal with the weather? I mean, Norway and Czech Republic, certainly not California and Florida.
No. So I was actually in northern Norway too. So it got darker faster. And so that definitely triggered depression with me.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going from California to Orlando, the two sunniest places in America, going to Norway was definitely the biggest mental challenge of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, despite like being homeless, despite like doing drugs, going to Norway was the hardest thing I have ever put myself through. Because that was my first time overseas, and so again, I didn't know what to expect, but I did not expect a cold culture. You know, I didn't really expect like people to not say hi to me on the street, or I didn't expect it to be like kind of light out for 2 hours a day or like 3 hours a day, which is like consumed by so much darkness. And I mean, even here it gets dark pretty early too, and the sun doesn't really like shine that hard or like that bright in like autumn, winter. But I think going to Norway kind of like helped me mentally here, like, okay, now I know this is what to expect.
And it's not that harsh like in Norway.
Right, exactly. So this is definitely an easier acclimation, but it's still pretty hard. Like I'm looking forward to going back to San Diego in December.
Okay. So you don't want to experience Christmas in Europe?
I really don't like bad weather. I'm so
if it's
spoiled.
snowing and...
No, I love the snow. Okay, I love the snow, but it'll snow in January when I'm back.
Okay,
yeah. But
you have the Christmas market in Prague,
I know.
mid-December.
I'm so excited to go to those. I think we were actually going to go to Germany, go to the Christmas markets in Germany.
Really?
Yeah, I heard they're a lot better.
Well, okay, amazing. I don't know. Yeah, Nuremberg, for example.
Yeah, that's where we were going to go.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited, but definitely the weather is a change. I have been completely spoiled with like year-round sun and perfect weather, and like being such an ocean girl that like this is so different than anything I'm used to, and it's just like it's cool to appreciate it though. I've definitely just learned to like, I don't know, talk about everything basically.
So what are you doing in your free time if you don't practice or don't have a game? What do you like to do here in Prague? Have you traveled around the country a bit?
So I went to Berlin. I haven't traveled that many places in Czech Republic. I've traveled to a couple, but I couldn't tell you the name because I don't understand the language or anything. But it's so pretty.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's just I discovered the Czech Republic about 2 years ago for me, and it's so nice places, countryside, and some natural wise. It's really, really. If you look at the cities, because during the Second World War, I think Czech Republic hasn't been that much bombed like Germany, of course. So you have a lot of heritages here in the Czech Republic still existing, and if you go to the cities, you have the old marketplaces and so on. That's really amazing. And even from my flat, it's like a 20-minute tram ride to the middle of the city, and then it's like a 5-minute walk to this like national forest. Just like you are consumed in nature, so it's like you get best of both worlds, and that is like I appreciate that so much because I just don't think there's a lot of places where you can go from like mid-city to just like the middle of nowhere, which is amazing. And
you need both.
Transportation is brilliant in Prague. Also in Czech Republic in general, the infrastructure. If you want to go to any place from Prague, it's so easy by train or bus, whatever anything. Bus. It's brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Christina. It was 1 hour 25, longer than expected, but there were a lot of being told from you, a lot of being said. Thank you very much for being in the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
All the best for your future. And for those of you, this podcast is Lottes Erbinnen. This is the first special we did in English, and my English isn't really that good, so please be bear with me. So normally we talk in German. This time was in English. So, nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it and listen to us next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.